for aviation aviator. I almost felt like I wasn't going to get that out. I saw something blinking that caught my attention. Anyway, today I am going to take the PC-12, the Pilaus PC-12 from Manteo, North Carolina, out on the coast to Fayetteville, not Fayetteville, Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, to give you a idea of the route that I am going to take, I do have a route plugged in and planned out. So I am going to fly, as you can see, mostly due east, pretty much as the bird fly. I do have some waypoints along the way, but I'm not flying in any crazy, having to fly north, south, it's pretty direct. So let's get started. Let's start by closing some doors. Let's get rid of these cones, the pulley, and the covers, and boom, they're gone. All right, let's close our baggage door, and let's close our passenger door. And there we go. Man, isn't this a gorgeous aircraft? I just love the Pilatus. It's a really sporty looking aircraft, especially with the T-tail in the back and that long nose that housed that PT6 engine. It's just a delightful aircraft to fly, and it flies really easily, at least to me. That may be because I fly it so much at this point. Um, this is an FSE flight. Let me get rid of the map. And I just closed a bunch of stuff, and I guess you didn't see any of it because I was not smart enough to remove the map. So I am going to jump back outside and show you what I meant to show you. The Pilatus PC-12, gorgeous aircraft. This is Carenado's rendition, and I give Carenado a bunch of grief because they model for PD3, port stuff over for X-Plane, and in a lot of cases they don't go back and fix some of the stuff that they could fix to make the aircraft complete. Um, and I wish they would. The skinning process, since they skin once for both platforms, I guess that's not that big of a deal to go back and fix for X-Plane, but I do wish they would circle back and finish modeling this aircraft. The ADF is not modeled. The these and give me a minute to rant and bitch and moan here. Let's see if I can pull this guy up. There you go. These panel lights are not modeled. The the ECS doesn't appear to be fully modeled. The EFOS and EPS switches are not tied to anything. The inertia separator is not tied to anything. I'm not. I think the probes and the de-ice and stuff do work, um, but I don't think icing is modeled on this aircraft. So, Carenado, if you're looking, please go circle back and fix some of your aircraft. Even if you charge more money, I'm willing to pay it. I've got what, 30 plus dollars tied up in this aircraft, and I'm willing to, yeah, to pay you another $30 if you go back and model the other stuff. So that finishes my rant, and let me get my checklist going here. So with with respect to the checklist, let's find the checklist and open it. With respect to the checklist, there are a couple things. FS Economy. This is an SF Economy flight. We're going to take on 6 passengers. For all intents and purposes, they're already loaded, and all I need to do is sign in, and it'll put the gas in the aircraft. It'll adjust the gas for me, enter the cockpit. Um, okay, so felt like I was going to say something else before that, but whatever it was, it seemed to have gotten away. I see it's getting cloudy outside. This is going to be an IFR flight on VATSIM. That um, I do believe that DC Center is active and alive. At least they were about 20 minutes ago. Okay, so let's get our flight a checklist going. External power comes on. Avionics 1 and 2 goes on, and file the flight plan. Now, uh, hitting, excuse me, hitting the wrong buttons here. Okay, so I've actually already have the flight plan keyed in. Just to show it to you. So these are waypoints. As you can see, I'm going to have 149 nautical miles between these 2 waypoints. So if this is a good time to have company to chat with um, at Liberty, between Raleigh, Durham, and Liberty, is when I want to start my descent into Charlotte. Okay, so let's get started. We've already started. Let's click this guy off and go back up to the top. Avionics 1 and 2 can go off. And as you can see, some stuff gets checked off automatically. And the stuff that gets checked off automatically, I'm not going to go back and check. I'm going to trust that those are in the right positions, and that'll speed up the pre-flight. I'm sorry, the checklist process. Okay, external power comes off. Uh, the the EFS, the EPS switch needs to come on. First, we'll test it. We got a green light and then turn it on. And I know it was hard to see, but our amber light did light up. That's not tied to anything, so I have to check that off manually. And the non-EES switch on my overhead panel is in the auto position. That's not tied to anything. The standby bus can come on. Battery 1 can come on, and the voltage is fine. Test lamp. All my lights are in, no bulbs are out, so I'm good there. All my de-icing is off. My inertia separator is off, and my cooling is off. My external lights are all off, and my caution can go, my master caution and master warning can go off, can be reset. And I don't need to go back up there just yet. My EFA switch, electronic, EFA is electronic, shucks. I, well, that's in the CMSTP. I've looked at EFA a couple of times and I can't remember what the acronym stand for, but it has to do with this panel here. Okay. Um, my ESC switch, environmental control system, goes to manual. It's not tied to anything, so it doesn't check off automatically, and I don't have to say that. So that's the last time I'm gonna say that. My cabin pressure, my cabin control is at my current altitude plus 500. The field elevation is at 13 feet. The way this works, is the lower numbers go from 0 to 10, and that's 10. That's so this one is 1,000 feet up to 10 means 1,000, 10,000, and then the bottom numbers pick up at 11,000 feet and go up to whatever the service ceiling is on this aircraft, which I think is 31,000. Okay, so I'm at 500 plus 13, so that's good. Right side oxygen can come on. Now, you may have heard that if you were in a quiet environment, maybe you heard that come alive. Let's see, I'm not sure which, which look I have. Okay, my trim and my flaps are in the normal position and everything checked off automatically, so I can go up to battery 2. Battery 2 comes on and navigation lamp come on, passenger wing no smoking comes on, and now we can do our fire pusher test. Our fire and pusher test. Now these should be audible. Okay, so I'm going to be quiet and we'll just listen. Okay, I hope you could hear that. I'm going to turn the volume up and do it again. Okay, and when I when I push that, the joystick, I'm sorry, the yoke vibrates. Okay, fire test.
Fire, 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 fire.
Okay, so that checks out. All right, parking brake is set. Fuel quantity is going to be set by FSE. Right now it's showing a full tank. You'll see that come down to a half a tank once I load FSE. Speaking of which, I can go ahead and at least hit start. I just started the flight. I meant to just log in, but you saw that come down to a half tank, which is fine. At least that way I won't forget to arm it before I take off. Okay, fuel quantity is set. The fuel reset switch let's see, fuel reset switch is on the I. So, shucks, I forgot where that was at. I think fuel reset switch right here. Okay, so that's done. It's not tied to anything. All right, and start the engine. All right. Okay, so the beacon light can come on and can test the ethos display lights. Make sure that they're all working. Everything should light up like a Christmas tree. Okay, don't see any lights out. And cancel the caution and master warning. And now we can go to start. And once I hit start, then I'm going to directly go to my gauges and monitor and make sure that my NG doesn't, that I introduce my fuel after I get 12% on my NG, and keep an eye on my engine oil and make sure that my ITT does not exceed 800 degrees. Okay, so let's do that. Okay. Okay, I'm over 12%, so I can introduce fuel. My ITT is coming up, oil pressure is coming up. Now the oil pressure do run high on this aircraft, but the experience is showing me that it's okay. I'm over, now my ITT is coming down. Okay, my NG is over 50%, so I got a good start. All right, condition level goes to ground idle. hard to see from this perspective, but it is a ground idle. All right, and let's see, and the stuff in the back is closed and stored. Uh, okay, so generator one and two can come on. Generator one and generator two, and if I had um, a GPU hooked up, then of course, that would come off at this point. Avionics one and two can come on, and my generator inverter switch can come on, and this standby can now go off. All right, so ECS switch, environmental control, can go off. And the reason we want that off is because we do want it off during takeoff. So it goes off now. Let's check out torque, make sure it's above, that it goes above 3.5, and we are good. And no yellow caution, no warnings. Check that off. Okay, all comms are set. Our transponder can come on standby. And at this point, we would get our, we would set our code, but we're going to start off from this field, VFR, and pick up our IFR a little bit later. Okay, so the field is at 13 feet. So let's go ahead and set our barometer for 13 feet. It's 22 feet. All right, so that's 13 there. Set this one for 13. Should be a little easier to set. All right, so we're coming up with 2994 in inches of mercury. All right, so our flaps go to 15 degrees. So this is our flap indicator. We also have an indicator here, and it does say 15 degrees. Let's, yep, so we're good. And test our autopilot. Okay, so get up under the column here and test autopilot test button. Okay, all my lights light up, and this is a blink here, so I'm good. All right, and then we'll turn autopilot on. We got a FD and red light. We turn it off and cancel this caution and warning. All right, seat belt sign can come on for our passengers, and our de-icing as needed. All we need is our inertial separator, and cooling and heating as needed. It's fine. And AR switches are always slaved in CCW alternatives, stabilized trim. Let's check, make sure that that's okay. And it's not. And so what I'm looking at is this guy here and this stabilized trim button, warning light. So it looks like I need to let it down a little bit, and by doing so, that light comes off. So I am good to go. All right, warning, lights are off, and now I can taxi. And I am at Manteo, And the radio frequency for the CTAF at Manteo is 122.8. Okay, so I need to put 122.8 in the box here and flip that in. And let's see what the VATSIM network is. Let's go ahead and get that. Okay, Washington Center is no longer online. So with that said, we actually are going to use the actual and correct frequencies. So we are not going to worry about DC Center. So yeah. So in fact, let's look and see what this guy said. Washington Center is off. I think Washington Center was 133.72 on VATSIM, so I'm going to go ahead and put that on standby just in case it comes alive again. 133.72. Okay. And we'll hold that till we get to RD, till we get to Liberty, and then once we get to Liberty, then we'll decide whether or not we want to change frequencies to something else. Okay, the Liberty VOR. All right, so we got that done, and get rid of this guy here, and turn on our strobe light. I don't like to turn on my strobe until I get to the taxi. That's because I wonder what's playing havoc with my amps, but might be my inertia separator is not modeled, so cutting it off doesn't do anything. But anyway, I turned it on just for the immersion. All right, so okay, so I got those on strobes. I'm gonna have to check that off just to get to the next one. And conditional level is set at ground idle. Parking brake can be released. Okay, and first I am gonna make my call out. I actually need to hear the weather first, and the weather for this area, the AWAS is 128.75. All right, so I'm gonna flip this in because it's already close. And 128.75, flip that up, and turn on COM2. And I think this guy here is what's blocking weather. So if I just toggle it, it's blocking not weather, but blocking default. All right, so it's not blocking it maybe, since I tell you what, let's just go and just disable Xpilot for a minute. Disable. Okay, Xpilot is now disabled. And I am renting a plane by the hour, so I want to get going. 128.75. 128.75, COM2. And there are some places that are just simply not modeled, and I guess Manteo might be one of them. So I'm just going to assume that's the case since I'm not getting the weather. However, I am running FS Global Real Weather in the background, and it's telling me that my ATOS, my altimeter is 299 5. I put in 2994, and it's saying that winds are 230 at 9. So we're going to use runway. We got 5 and 2, 3, 17 and 3, 5. So we're going to use 2, 3. All right. And I feel like I ought to be getting ATOS. Let me just check. Sky vector, make sure I got the right ATOS frequency. 128.27. Ah, German error. 128.27. So let's flip that back down and make this 27. Glad I did check. Flip it back up.
Dare County Regional Weather. Wind 280 at 6. Visibility more than 10. Sky conditions 9,000 overcast, 32,000 scattered, temperature 13, dew point 7. Altimeter 2993.
And this is 3, so I'm gonna change it to 3 since that's should be closer to what I'm actually dealing with.
Dare County Regional Weather. Wind 280 at 6. Visibility more than 10. Sky conditions 9,000 overcast, 32,000 scattered, temperature 13, dew point 7. Altimeter 2993.
I still didn't hear the winds. I'm not paying attention. I need to hear it one more time.
Dare County Regional Weather. Wind 280 at 6.
280 at
Visibility
6.
more than 10. Sky conditions 9,000 overcast, 32,000 scattered, temperature 13, dew point 7.
So we're going to use 2, 3. And 6 is a little better than 9. And I did refresh the weather, and I'm curious to why I'm getting a different weather on FS Global versus the real weather. So just bear with me and let me check something. Weather overcast and custom from METAR, and the METAR ought to be what FS Global Weather is reporting, but I got a discrepancy. Don't know why. Okay. Parking brake release. Okay, so hold the brakes, release the parking brakes. Okay, they are released. And keep the brakes held. And get up here and make our call. Manteo traffic, Pilaus 9875 November is at GA, taxiing to runway 23. Manteo. Hey, War Spy, how are you, my friend? Sorry if I wasted 5 minutes of your time before I acknowledge you. I actually have to look, and I didn't. I've been on for about 20 minutes with no visitors, so I didn't. I'm not in the habit of looking as much, but I'm glad you stopped by. Okay, so now let me clear to the left, looking good. Clear to the right, looking good, and I can get moving. Check my left brake, look good. Check my right brake, it's doing okay. Left steering, right steering, both brakes. Okay, I'm good. All right, check my reverse thruster. Should back up just a little, and I do. All right, so let me taxi to runway 32. Now, question is, I'm not familiar with this airport, so how do I get to runway 32? So let's just jump into this sky vector map and let's pull up the airport diagram. Now, I am at GA. Let's see, I think I'm here. All right. And I want 3-2, so I want to take alpha. Okay. So as long as I got alpha out there, I'm good to go. Okay. Before takeoff, I haven't gotten to that point yet. So let's, don't want to go that way. And if, oh, let me get rid of the map. I tend to do that. You know, pull the map up and forget about it. And War Spy, so that sounds like a good gaming title. All right, so I'm looking for alpha, and there is alpha. All right. So now, which way is 2-3? Right now, I'm pointed towards 2-5, so I need to be going this way. So 2-3 ought to be to the left. And I need to look and make sure I'm not jumping onto some runway. So yeah, see, that's a runway there, because I see the white runway signs. So it looks like what I need to do is hook a right here. All right. I mean, I hook a left. I was absent the day they taught right and left. I need to go to school a little bit more often and not miss those days. Okay, so we are rolling. Whoa, looks like we were rolling at a speed that we could almost take off. All right, so we are rolling. And incursion. All right. Manual traffic, Pilaus 9875 is crossing runways 1735. Manual. All right, so let's clear, make sure there's nothing coming in that way, and clear this way. Don't see anything. Oftentimes I do have traffic global running. So I do need to clear, make sure even in the sim I can have traffic out there that could cause me to have a bad day. Okay, so I've crossed that runway and I should have 5 on my HSS, and I do. So that means that when I do a 180, I would be doing 2-3. 5 plus 18. All right, it's getting cloudy outside. When I first started streaming, it was blue skies. All right, this is going to be an IFR flight. And the calling a little bit. All right. So, all right, that's the top of the runway there. All right, so now what I want to do is go to my checklist and open it to before takeoff, parking brake, set, cooling and system is off, landing lights can come on, taxi light can go off, passenger window smoking, request takeoff. Okay. Manteo traffic, Pilaus 9875 November is lining up and taking off. Runway 23 will be departing to the east. Manteo. All right. Transponder go to altitude reporting. And no warnings. Okay. And release parking brake. And I've got a light right there on the taxiway, so I need to avoid that. One thing that X-plane does not do is the objects that's in front of the plane, like buildings and stuff, it actually ignores it. So you can literally run right through a building as if it wasn't there. Okay. Go to flight idle, hold the brake. And one thing I always forget to do is set this guy for the initial climb out. So we'll climb out at 1,400 feet, and we'll climb up to 55. Let's climb up to 6,000. They usually give you 3,000 or so. All right, but I'm in a sim. I can do this. Okay. So let's go. Rotate at 80. Airspeed's alive. 80 knots, rotate. Positive rate, tap the brake, gear up. Over 300 AGL, flaps up. Landing light can come off. Initial SEP can stay on to over 1,500 feet. And let's start our left downwind for our turn east. Yaw damper can come on. Half bank and soft ride can come on. Set this guy for nav. And hit the nav button and turn our autopilot on. Sorry. And we should climb out at 14. And I'm doing 4,000. Oh man, this should be 14, and I got 6,000 in the box. So let's change that because we don't want to stall, and actually had it backwards. Human error. All right, so we'll climb up to 6,000, and we should be climbing at 800. Let's change that to 14 now. And we are on our way. Let's turn on our air conditioning to auto, so we good there. And power less than on this climb out, greater than let's see, if we're under 150 knots, then power should be 36.9. We at 170 indicated, so we can pull that back a little. Y'all damper is on. It's checking off the stuff that needs to check off. I do need to adjust the cabin altitude. Now, the cloud bases were at 6,000 the last time I listened to ATOS. So I should be 500 feet up under the clouds, so hopefully I'll punch through them. So let's go ahead and set up a new flight level. Let's see, we are not getting, we should be out of the delta. So let's go ahead and turn that on and change this guy to our flight level, which is going to be 20. This guy needs to go up to at least 6,000 at this point. Give our cabin a little chance to pressurize, catch up with us before we start that climb. And 22 is our cruising altitude. Alright, so let's start a climb, and because of cabin pressure, we're going to climb a little bit slower than we normally would. Well, as long as we're below 10, we can get on up to 10 pretty quickly. So let's get on up, and then 18 is what the POH say. I think that's VX for this aircraft. All right. So the Pilaus PC-12 and should be over 6, and I hadn't hit those clouds yet, so let's see what the ATOS say now.
Dare County Regional Weather. Wind 240 at 5, visibility more than 10. Sky conditions 9,000 overcast.
9,000 now.
Temperature 13, dew point 6. Altimeter 2994.
So at 9,000, we should get up into the clouds, 500 feet. All right, so let's adjust this guy here. And 9,000, and we're gonna cruise to 22,000, so we can leave it where it's at for the duration of the flight, or at least until we start our descent. Okay, And we haven't quite gotten into the clouds yet. Initial separator does need to come off, and we keep our no smoking sign on, and let our passengers unbuckle their seat belts. The air is pretty smooth. And outside air temperature is -7. It is cloudy, so we are going to turn on our probes, and don't think that I need to be concerned with icing just yet. In fact, I've never had this aircraft ice up on me, with or without the icing. Okay. So I am gonna change the climb a little bit. It's starting to get a little uncomfortable to the human body. And up, up, and away. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's Virtual General Aviation Aviator. Bet you didn't expect that. All right. So, oil pressure looks good. NG is within range. ITT is within range. Torque is within range. Fuel burn is, let's see. We got fuel flow per hour, and now that's another thing that I need to figure out. We've got 559 per hour, and I know that's not gallons, so I need to figure out what does that number represent. So there are some things about this aircraft that I do need to figure out. Or temperature is in the green. The generators look good, and date is the date says 2/24. You know, I never noticed date on this aircraft. It's amazing how you can use something for a long time and only look at what you feel like you need to look at. Okay, my endurance is 2 hours and 12 minutes. My flight should only be an hour and a half. So I've got 40 minutes worth of reserve. I don't recall what part 135 say my reserve should be. Okay, looks like I'm in the soup now. Yep, definitely in the soup. Okay, so I'll soon be going through transition. Looks like, and fortunately at 22, I'll rise above those clouds, these clouds. Okay, once I get to 17.5, I can change my barometer to standard. than 1,000 to go. I've already checked my panel. Everything looks good. And 17.2. Got 1,100 feet, 1,200 feet per minute. $17.5. Let's go to standard. 2992, and that's done. Engine stuff is checked. Still in my climb. My power is greater. Torque should be less than 37 psi at this point. It is. It's at 36.4. ITT should be under 160 degrees. So I'm at 186. So let's just pull it back, see if we can lower our ITT. I don't think it will really matter if it's under 160, but let's just try to be, if we can, consistent. You know what? That's cruise. I'm still in climb. So let me push it back up. Yeah, I hadn't gotten to climb yet. My cabin stuff, I do recall that's, all this is good. My inertia separator is off. De-icing is as needed. Altimeter is standard. Fuel quantity, I did just check. And instruments and warnings looking good. Okay, these are my power tables, and I'm doing maximum power. So open checklist, next, and I need to open it. I need this checklist here. Nope, I need the other one. One checklist is persistent. Maybe it's this one. Nope. So I keep hitting the same thing. Checklist. Cruise power. Where's my persistent checklist? Don't know. Okay, so 1,500 to go. All right, so we're getting to 22. Washington's, let's see, we do have flight VATSIM in the, let's see, let's switch to that network. If they come on, if Washington Center come on, then hopefully we can hear them. All right. So we're in cruise. Yeah. So, well, we're still in climb, actually, technically, with 500 to go. And automatic capture altitude is on. So I could have a cup of coffee. Okay, I see my nose lowering. So everything is looking good, as it should. Oil pressure, no attempt, fine. RPMs at 1,700, not fluctuating, so I don't have a lot of wind pushing in and out through that prop. And windy weather does oscillate between 1,700 and 1,698, 1,699, 1,701, too. Um, NG is lower than 104%. ITT is at 800. That's pretty high. So let's see if we can't lower the ITT. Eccentrics 4. Hey, my friend. Yep, that PC-12. It's one of it seemed to have become my favorite aircraft. So I'm in cruise now. I'm trying to get my ITT down within range. 760 is about where it should be. And we are there. Also, hello to you too. Glad you stopped by. So, since I fly so many different aircraft, then what I do on this one is I use the tail number November 9875 November as my tail number for this aircraft. That way, I don't have any problem remembering it. So, yeah, I am too. I am glad to stop by. And GA is pretty much all I fly. In fact, whenever I do watch channels on Twitch, it's hard to find someone doing GA flights. Everybody tend to fly airliners. And I'm strictly a GA man, hence virtual general aviation aviator or virtual GAA. And that's me. Now, because I do GA and my preference is propeller aircraft versus jet aircraft, then my hops tend to be a little bit shorter than the people who fly the bigger and faster aircraft. I don't see the draw of the turboliners. Yep, to each his own. Hey, Nova King, yep, I am back. Nova Viking. Nova King, I said that as if you are a drug, a medicine, Nova King. Yep, I decided to do a flight. I did do a flight yesterday in the Piper Carbon Cub. I was the day before yesterday, but I guess I was flying about an hour and a half, and lo and behold, the sim crashed. So what I did was I got a little bit of fan, opened my case, and now I'm shooting cooler air into the case. I'm wondering if I was having an overheating issue. But you guys are here at a good time because I'm in cruise and I've got 31 minutes before I get to my next waypoint. So I'm just kind of sitting here looking at the terrain roll by. Got puffs of clouds, and now I got people to talk to. So I want to look at this guy, see if, not that one, this guy here. And I do have let me just do this here. I do have, what am I trying to say? the TCAS activated. I don't know if global traffic is activated or not, so I am going to turn on labels, and the labels pop up. So maybe it is working because the X-Pilot program oftentimes will block the TCAS. And why is that dark? Okay, that's my, I want it to be dark. That's my annunciator panel. So, Manteo, North Carolina, that is where, oh, you used to live in Wilmington? Cool. Yep, I have, in fact, I got my first speeding ticket near in that area. I went to Wilmington and I was going up, I think it was Highway 64, and I was like, well, I got the Atlantic Ocean on my right and an Air Force bombing range on my left. I just bought a brand new car, and I thought, well, this is a time I can open it up. And so I got it up to around 95, 100 miles per hour, and there was no oncoming traffic. So the first time I saw oncoming traffic, I slowed down to about 60, 65. At that time, the speed limit all across the United States was 55. And, you know, no cop. So I got my speed back up and got it back up again to around 100 miles per hour, just cruising, and saw traffic again, no cop. But I slowed down just in case. And the third time, you know, I saw oncoming traffic. I was like, well, that's not a cop. And I didn't slow down. I did have a what do you call it, a radar. I did have a radar system, a radar gun in the car, and it went off, and I jammed on the brakes hard enough for the car to bow, and he still clocked me at, I think, 78 miles per hour. And no, that wasn't my first ticket. That was my second ticket. And I got a ticket. Little story there. But that was, but yeah, I'm from the Raleigh-Durham area. So I am just cruising, and I am gonna go out and check my BatSim map, and Washington Center is still not online. Okay, just wanted to check, make sure. I'm gonna refresh it just in case, and it's not online. But who knows, they may come on before I get to my destination. So in the meantime, I do have the traffic global traffic. Now I got an aircraft 30 miles out and one 19 miles out. It's getting closer, and let me turn off my labels. How do I do that? Why can't I remember how to turn my labels off? It's keyboard. And I want to see if I can see them. I'll turn on the labels and find them. 17, 16 miles. And yeah, what made me think that my eyes are strong enough, even in real life, to see an aircraft 15 miles away even when, let's see. But you know, when I'm on the ground and I look up and I see the contrails, and and I can see the aircraft, they are about what, 6 miles? Yeah, they're about 6 miles. Six times 5,000 would be about 30,000. So yeah, yeah. There's no way I'm gonna see an aircraft 12 miles out. But let's see if I can't see them on my TCAS. Shoot, I got my map up. Hope I didn't block. Okay, yeah. So you was in Durham a few weeks ago at Duke. Cool, cool. Yep, Durham. Actually, Durham is the city that I live in. Yep. So you was in definitely in my neck of the woods. Did you fly up here? Did you drive? Okay. Okay, so you were at the well you say you went to Duke. Flew from Cincinnati. Cool. You know, I have not taken a commercial flight. Oh man. I'm almost ashamed to say. I think it's been the 90s since I flew commercially. Don't mean to do that. Now, I have flown several times since then, but just not commercially. Um, I had a friend who lived in Manassas, just on the outskirts of Washington. Oh, cool. A fencing attorney. So I take it that you can, wow. I take it that you can fence. I am going to turn the labels off. I'm going to cycle through them again because I saw one go away. That Delta Airlines is on the ground because it's traveling at 0 feet at 15 knots. You're much better. Well, now I should be able to see this aircraft. It's 10 miles out. And if I zoom in, yep, I see the contrails. See the contrails. And now I should actually, let's see, now he's at flight level 32 and I'm at 24, so he's not a factor. And he'll pass over me at Delta. And I can just barely see him now. Well, that's at least you are doing okay. Now I'm starting to connect the dots. Nor Viking, and Vikings were you know, they fought with swords and iron. So is that where that come from? I've got the TBM that I should take out a little bit more. I tend to stick with the Pilaus because I can fly. I can do an FSE economy flight and take a third more people. Okay, Nora Viking. I can take a third more passengers and make more money. I've managed to accumulate $233,000 just by renting this aircraft, and I need another $800,000 before I can buy one. Now, I've racked up a whole lot of time just ferrying passengers, $2,000 and $3,000 at a time. Ah, cool. I got it, brother. Dog, what do you want? You got food, you got water, and you don't want to go outside unless I go out. So, and I don't want to go out right now. So that's absolutely cool. In fact, one of the things that I complained about is now I got another aircraft that's 20 miles out, not a factor yet. One of the things that I have complained about with, he's at 24, I'm at 23, and he is headed my way. I'm at 22. I don't think we are in any danger of colliding. One of the things that I get it out eventually. One of the things that I have complained about is that in all the aircraft where they put people, I never see any black pilots. I wish that some of these aircraft that model pilots, that that I could put somebody in the cockpit who look like I do. But that's the way of the world. It is what it is. All right, so he's 12 miles out, so I should be able to see him. So I'm gonna turn off my labels and get a good look. He should be passing through this window in a minute. And just be patient. It should pop out. And don't make me turn the labels back on. I thought he would have popped out by now, so I'm gonna turn the labels on. And he is gone. He is way over there now. He should come into view in a second. He's about 11 miles out. There he is. And I thought maybe I could see 11 miles, but I guess I can't. So that's good to know. I'm still learning what I can and cannot see. All right, so let me turn this back. And yeah, I don't know if I have actually complained about it to the people who could do anything about it. It's just that in a couple streams that I've done, I have mentioned it. Not that I'm that bothered about not being able to find pilots in virtual aircraft who look like me, but it would just be nice. Maybe I've become real active in the xplane.org forums. So maybe in some of the commercial development forums, I should mention that, um, and maybe some developer may at least create an option so that you can switch the race of the pilot. The ethnicity, I don't think matter. I mean, who cares if somebody is Irish or Asian? Um, but and the reason I say that is because sometimes from a distance it's hard to discern, but it's not. You can easily discern race. So if you guys would give me just a minute, I do want to let my whining dog out just in case he has to make a bathroom call. So I'm going to take my headset off and set him down, and I'll be right back. Okay, come on. Okay, I am back. Now, I am desperate, and I do mean desperate. Eccentric, thanks for the follow, my friend. I am desperate to get in the right seat or the back seat of somebody's GA aircraft. It's been a while since I've flown. Like I mentioned, the last time I did fly, it was I think it was a Piper Warrior, and that's been too long ago. Um, well, no, that's not true. I think I have flown since then. When I was a flight student, but it's been a long time since I've been in the air, and I am desperate to get up there. So desperate that I sent an email a couple of days ago to Operation Airdrop saying, hey, um, I would be willing to volunteer to do some groundwork um, just in hopes that every now and then I can catch a flight somewhere. So hadn't heard anything back from them. And Operation Airdrop is a volunteer organization where they actually move goods and patients around. I understand they get really active during periods of storms like hurricanes and or natural disasters when they have to move supplies from here to there. I go in and get injured people out of a place. They fly, from what I hear, with all volunteers. They fly everything from 172s. Well, actually, they mentioned an airplane that's a little bit smaller than the 172. Well, I don't know if it's any smaller. I think it's a little cheaper price-wise than the 172. All the way up to, shucks, I can't remember I think it was I don't remember what the aircraft model was, but it was I think it was a medium-sized jet, or maybe small to medium jet. But yeah, I would love to. I'm sure that everybody who, I'm sure that everybody who sim or watch sims almost feel the same way. Hey, if they're not a real world pilot, then give me an opportunity to fly, and I'll take it. I'm not one of those people who have any fear of flying. I do. One way I could get back up in the air and relatively quickly is to resume my flying lessons. But I do have okay, I got an email that's good news. Awesome. I do have shucks, what am I trying to say? I got the email that's good news, and that kind of how should I say, distracted me. um, I was talking about getting back up in the air. I could um, I could resume my flying lessons, which I do intend to do. But the reason I haven't done it yet is because if I start again, I want to know that I can finish and get my pilot's license and not start and then stop. Awesome. Okay, so looks like I am about to go through a layer of clouds, minus 27 degrees. My probes are on, so I'm good. Let me just double check. Yep, probes are on. Nav lights, and I never did turn my strobes on, which I should have turned on when I first turned onto the taxi runway. Okay. So, monitor check, instrument check. Everything should be in the green. Torque is okay, ITT looks good, and RPMs, fuel quantity, oil pressures, and generators. Everything looks good. All right, so I'm entering the soup here. I should punch through it any second. All right. So I see RDU showing up on my scope, and once I get there and make that turn, then somewhere between RDU and Liberty, I need to start my descent down into Charlotte. And I'm gonna type a quick flight plan into my ForeFlight app, Charlotte, and let's see, let me find that flight plan. I got a waypoint that I need to look up, and that's ITOT. TOTYE. That didn't work. TOYTE. That didn't work. I have to look it back up again. India Tango Oscar Yankee Echo. India. India Tango Oscar. Was it Yankee Echo? India. Come on, guy. Replace. India Tango Oscar Yankee Echo. Yep. I can pronounce that ITOE, and that way it will be easier to remember than Charlotte, and that should set me up for the runway that I'm anticipating. I need to get my winds for Charlotte. Okay, Kilo Charlie Lima Tango, Charlotte. Okay, so now if I was in the aircraft and I wanted my winds for Charlotte, where could I get them? I wonder if this thing support abbreviated. I don't see a panel or any way to any better way to do it. Okay, so I want maps. Actually, not maps. Maybe not maps. Let's go back here. Let's see, explain map. Okay, and we go and close out of that. Airports. Yeah, that's what I want. Okay. Charlotte Lima Tango. All right. And I was thinking I can get the ADAS from here, but maybe I can't. Search. Let's click on this one. I can get my frequencies. All right, but I need to put in my frequencies anyway. Okay, so ADAS, well, let's say I got COM1, and I'm not going to worry about approach. Normally I would do approach and talk to approach and let them vector me in until I get to tower. But I am going to go straight to the tower frequency, which is 126.4. And I just made my turn towards Charlotte 126.4, and ground is 121.9. So I don't know if I was working on becoming a real world pilot. Okay. I don't know how this could not help me. Let's see what else does it give me. I tell you what I want, what I'm hoping that it gives me that I don't see, and I've had Avatar installed for a long time. I just never really used it until I got in the Carbon Cub the other day and pulled it up, and I said, hey, you know, this is pretty neat. Aircraft maps, routes. Routes I would have to pull in manually and then import. I believe. I actually have not played with routes yet. Let's see, let me just try something. KRDU, and arrival KCLT. And so it suggests a route for me. Route wizard. And so what would I do with that? GSO, Victor, and then this is a so I'm not following this, because if I go to KRDU and then to GSO, that's Greensboro. I'm not sure where this waypoint is, but I know where Liberty is at, and Liberty is right outside of RDU, which is my next waypoint, and I'm 9 minutes away. So why would it take me to Greensboro and then to Liberty? Because I would have to literally go back towards anyway. I don't understand that. But yeah, see how much further that route takes me out of the way. The direct distance is 113 nautical miles, and if I fly this route, I'm flying 176 nautical miles. I hope you can see that. I know sometimes it's hard to see stuff. Notes, and I don't have a Navigraph subscription. Charts, and I don't have charts loaded. It just read it from my hard drive, the charts, and I did load I think this is the RDU. Let's see, charts. yeah, the RDU airport diagram. Okay, let's see, it's still 8 minutes from Liberty. Um, but that's not helping me. All right, so let's just say that they just asked me to descend and maintain 16,000. Okay. So I hit that button, hit this button, and let's see, hit this button, come down to 11616. Hit this button, that would grab it. Now change this button to my descent rate and go here. Turn my seatbelt sign on and pull out my descent checklist. Okay, power adjust, and I just don't want to overspeed, so it's like I'm good. So I need to descend at 190 at approximately 500 feet a minute. I'm doing 600 feet a minute. And I'm going to need to adjust my cabin pressure and right now I'm at 23,000 feet, and let's adjust this down to 16,000. Okay, I see the cabin pressure coming down, so that looks good. And I'm passing through 20,500 in a minute. Okay, looks like I got a NOTAM for Charlotte. Runway 5 and 23 is closed, except for taxi. I hadn't planned to land on 5 or 23. What I was looking for is what I'm actually looking for is the what am I looking for? The runway, the winds, so I know which runway to expect. And without the benefit of ATC, then I have to figure out the winds myself. I do have FS Global running, which I cannot share with you. It won't show you, but I can review the weather station for Charlotte. And winds are 210 at 6, altimeter 3001. All right, so let's go ahead and set this for 3001. And winds 3001 here also. Even though I never look at this altimeter. And oh, that got bright. I noticed that the screen seems to be darker in the video than in real life. I don't know why. All right, so I should be going through. I should be going through the transition altitude at about 700 feet. When I get to 18, then I can, well, I can actually change it now if I wanted to. No, I need to be at 18.5 before I change it. So once I get down to about 18.5, I can go ahead and change my transition altitude. And I am going to change my descent to 500. $18.5 and 3001. Okay, so that's done. I can tell the scenery below has changed. I do see more in terms of what looked like development. But I do have an ortho towel in this area. So when I look out the window and see stuff down there, it's because it really is there in real life. So ortho towel taken from either Bing or Google Earth. Okay.
Transition altitude, nearest altimeter, 2998.
And the inertia separate. Okay, I just passed over Liberty, and I've got 65 knots to my nautical, not knots, but nautical miles to my destination. 19 minutes out. Not to my destination, to my next waypoint. And where do I want to be once I get to that waypoint? That's a good question. Let's see, that waypoint is about 25 miles, about 20 miles from Charlotte. Icing is a concern right now, so I am going to turn on got my probes on. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my inertia sets. And I could turn on the de-icing stuff, but like I said, I've been flying this aircraft forever. Never had an icing issue, and I know it's crazy, but I want to have one. I want to see if this aircraft is affected by icing. Yeah, I have flown the 172. I can't remember whether it was the default one or the F4 Labs 172. But I've had that ice up and caused me to crash. Okay, no warnings. And I haven't got to approach yet. So once I get to my next waypoint, then I'll look for my approach checklist. That'll put me 22 miles out, and I want to be maybe about 4,000 feet, um, or at least no higher than 4,000 feet. Okay. Eccentric, all good, all good. So, Twitch is a funny thing. I see some of the guys who've been doing this forever, and like I was watching Brad M stream yesterday, and lo and behold, he got up to 113 views on his stream. But excuse me, in all fairness, the guy has a knack of making each and every follower feel like he's talking directly to them. In fact, um, yesterday he seemed to be holding no less than 4 or 5 concurrent conversations with different people. So it didn't like he wasn't working. Hey, time for tonight. How are you? The PC-12 is doing great so far. It is, to me, probably, it has become as easy to fly as the Cessna 172. Um, it's an aircraft that I just love flying. I think about the TBM, the 940, which the computer does everything. It's almost like the pilot has nothing. The only thing the pilot really has to do with that aircraft is take off, because it incorporates an auto land system. So, once you can program the FMS, then the aircraft can literally land itself, which is phenomenal. I think that's just a sign of things to come. If you guys are in your teens or 20s or maybe even 30s or early 40s, then at some point you'll probably fly on some plane that auto lands, whether it's commercially or GA. In my case, unless I'm going to fly on a TBM at my age, I don't know. Technology moves so quickly that who knows, maybe I get to fly on something or fly something that auto lands. So, a little brief here. I took off from Manteo, North Carolina, had a flight plan that's covering 289 nautical miles. I am on my way to Charlotte. I'm doing an FSE economy flight with 6 passengers aboard. And we are probably 20 minutes from touchdown. Let's say I'm 13 minutes from my next waypoint and 68 nautical miles from my final destination. at my next waypoint, I am going to hook a sharp left turn, and the idea is to take 3-6 right. Haven't gotten close enough to Charlotte yet to get the ADAS, but I did look it up in FS. Let's see, winds are 210, and at 210, that's going to be 180, runway 18. So it looks like the runways did change. Yeah, so I need to make some changes here to my flight plan, because I'm lining up for 3-6. I'm coming in for 3-6. Okay, so and I'm looking at 4 flight, looking at what I can do with 4 flight. If I were to drop south to the Chesterfield VOR, which is CTF, so let's do that now. Charlie Tango Foxtrot ST. And let's go direct to that. Activate it. All right. I'm on a half bank so that the bank feels pretty gentle to my passengers. Now I need to modify my flight plan. Okay, so when I did that, the stuff above it went away, which is fine. Okay, so let me do this. I am going to jump here and change Liberty to CTF. Now this is not going to show you where my aircraft is, but CTF, there we go. So I'm actually about right up in the hill, so I'm dropping due south, and I want to come down some, and I want to come down till about right up in here somewhere, right? So I need to find see if I can't find a waypoint that I can replace CTF with, so I don't have to go into South Carolina. But what I want to do is, my plan initially was to fly to this guy, to Lake Norman, and then drop down and take 3-6 left. But now, since it looks like 1-8 is going to be the active runway, then I want to come down till about here somewhere. So I'm looking for a waypoint that I can use. There are so many of them, but I just can't see them on the sectional. Let's go to World Low. And okay, so if I come down to Houston and then take Houston to Ritchie, And then I can take Richie um, up to 1/8. So that's going to be my plan. So Huston to Richie. Okay. And let me get rid of the map here. All right. So let's go Huston. And in real life, the what do you call it? ATC would do all this for me, Huston. They would get me into Class B, Huston. All right, there we go. And then to Richie. I have to look Richie back up to find the spelling of it. All right, so what was that world low? And I'm using a different RICHE. RICH and then E. I wasn't sure whether the word Richie was actually spelled out or not. All right, and then I can clear CFT and then go straight to Charlotte. Charlotte. I don't know why I can't do Charlotte. Charlotte. Okay. Charlotte Douglas. And then let's do a procedure, select approach. Let's do 1/8 right. I'm pretty sure is what we want. Not 1/8, but 3/6. We want to be pointing north. And you heard me say 1/8. I got it completely backwards because I'll be landing to the north. And 1/8 is what I was looking at when I was planning on coming in from the north. Okay, sorry about that. Got that straightened out. And let's see, so we want to do ILS 3/6 right. And vectors. And go ahead and load them. And I need to pull up the plate to get the what do you call it? The ILS frequency. So shall I pull that up on Sky Vector or sounds great. I think I'll buy it. Oh yeah, man, you would the PC-12 is a great aircraft. Thanks. I'm glad you stopped by if you're still here. And if you are looking for a great aircraft to fly, then the PC-12 is a great one. Okay. So, with that said, the question is whether I should pull this up on Sky Vector or still. I think I will, because that way I can share with you guys exactly what I'm doing. All right. So go to Charlotte, which is World VHF. So World VFR, and then this guy and Charlotte. Okay, yeah, I can also get my METAR from there. All right, so I'm looking for approaches. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. And 36 right ILS, which would be this guy. And come on up now. 36 right. Okay. 108.9. All right. I'm not 100% sure that I am going to fly the approach, but at least I have it in. Okay, so that's done. And let's see, at radar, I need to be at 5,000, gender 4,000, Lancer 3,000, and on and on. Hectim 6,000, but I'm doing vectors. So once, let's see, let me go to low here. And see where is some of those waypoints. I don't see them. I see Great, Richie, Zukar. That's the VOR, Moped. Let's see. And I think the VOR is a few miles, it's about 6 miles south of the airport. Or is it? Maybe not. I always thought the VOR was up in here somewhere. So there's the VOR right there. So it's right, it is right there at the airport. Okay. So this is the airport here. Yeah, but I don't see those waypoints that I saw in the diagram. Oh well, okay. So You know what? I don't think I activated those waypoints, so I'm not sure where I'm at. Don't see my magenta line. Direct to. And now I'm turning towards it. And where am I on altitude? I need to get down some more. Descend and maintain 6,000. 10,000 foot drop here. Pretty big. But since I don't normally fly IFR, so I'm not sure what kind of steps they give. And let me get rid of the map. My bad, guys. Sometimes I forget that I have to manually remove the map. Okay. So let's descend. Oh, come on. Let's descend at 700. I'm not sure where I'm at. And let's turn that on. And let's see, I'm 33 miles from Houston. And at Houston, where do I want to be? Let's see, where is Houston? I'm having to look back at my ForeFlight map. And actually, I do better with the for what I'm doing. I do better with the with the sky vector map, because I can see the world low. VR. So Houston, where is that guy? Let's see. So what we did was we changed CTF to Houston. Nope, the spelling is wrong. Houston. No I. Okay. There's Houston. And then to Richie. Rich E. Okay. And that's our new plan. And we are actually up in here. And we're flying to here. So I can see where I'm at on ForeFlight, and I'm about right here. Just in front. I'm turning towards examples of Class B altitudes. So, so. In order to be in the Class B, which, since this is an IFR flight, I need to be between 7,000 and 3,000 when I get there. So if I can manage 6,000 between here and here, which is 19 miles. It's going to take me 5 minutes to get there. So So I am going to, there's no way I can bleed off all of that speed in 5 minutes, all of this height. So there are two things I could do. I could do the sim thing and ignore the coming in at the right altitudes for the Bravo, or I could vector myself somewhere and then come back. So let's do that. Let's vector. How am I looking on fuel? I'm okay on fuel. All that's gonna do is cost me time. All right, so flight plan. Let's see, so where can I vector to? And believe it or not, this is what ATC would actually do. They would do it a lot better than I would, though. If you were too high, they saw you were too high, they just tell you turn right, turn left to, oh, that's what we're doing. Just change my heading. All right. So, heading and okay. So I'm turning to the south, and that's to bleed off altitude. I can get rid of this guy. I decided not to go this route. And turn this back on. I'm still outside the Bravo. And my passengers' ears would be about to blow up about right now. So let's just adjust that descent rate from 1200 back to 500. And with that, I can give a little bit more power. I can turn to, let's see, I'm flying 2-1. I can actually change that now to, I can't see. Turn it to to a new heading. Still flying. Turn north here. Still got half bank on, so I'm banking real gently. I don't have to. I'm not an aeroambulance, but in fact, I think I am gonna disable the half bank so I can go ahead and make that turn back to the north. And what am I trying to capture here? 6,000, which is perfect. Now I can go back to my nav and turn back to Hutchins, and I don't have to worry about blowing the coming in over the shelf. Come in the shelf right where I need to be. Okay, so was it Hutchins? Hutchins. I'm actually trying to put it in for flight, the new flight plan. And I have to look at it on flight on Sky Vector to get the spelling Huston. I'm trying to type Hutchins. There we go. And then Richie. Rich E. All right, looking good. And then load the approach for 36 right. Back. 36 right. Vectors the final. Add to route. Okay. So, as soon as we leave Richie, then I can activate my vectors, the final. And in a Class B, the speed limit is 200 knots. So I need to slow down a little. Of course, when I level off, I bleed off a little speed anyway. 100 to go to level off.
Destination ATIS is 121.15.
Just entered the mode C zone. And I never did get a squawk code. I forgot to change that, but that's okay. And I think I got the ATIS dialed in for Charlotte. Nope, I don't. ATIS Charlotte 121.5. Same thing for flight just told me. These little things like dialing in the ATIS and listening to it and trying to, before you talk with ATC, and these are the kinds of things that can easily cause you to get behind the aircraft, and you always want to stay in front of it. Okay, so 121.5 on COM 2, and I am not getting comms. I know I didn't get it when I left Manteo, but I thought it may have been an AWAS issue, and apparently it's not. I am looking for, shucks, XPilot, which is disabled. Because sometimes XPilot has been known to disable my comms. I'm not going to squawk 7600 comms. I think 7600 is comms not working. All right, so I'm turning towards Richie now. In 5 seconds, this should change to Richie. There we go. And I haven't been talking with, well, as you can see, something, you know, I'm not going to reload the flight. I'm not going to make any money on this flight either. I've been in the air too long with this diversion. And I'm renting the aircraft, I think at $500 or $600 an hour. The flight only paid, I think, about $3,000. So I have about probably have about $1,000 in rent with Charlotte's booking and landing fees and so and so. I might walk away with $700-800 for FSE. But the problem is I have brought the PC-12 to Charlotte, and if I just leave it, if I don't pick up another flight and fly somewhere else and make some money, and to say, well, I'm just going to park it and leave it overnight, somebody else would grab this PC-12 and I would have brought it to Charlotte for nothing. So that means that I am going to have to do another flight. Now, what I would do when I do the next flight is I would end this stream and start a new stream. I usually upload my streams to YouTube, and I don't want to have a 3 and 4 hour stream on YouTube if I can help it. In fact, I think probably a good sweet spot for flight streams on YouTube is somewhere around 60 minutes. However, it can easily take me the whole 60 minutes just to do the pre-flight and the pre-flight checklist. So I have to keep reminding myself that I'm making these flights out of because it's something that I want to do and enjoy doing, and hopefully the people who watch, whether it's on Twitch or YouTube, will enjoy flying around with me as opposed to doing it strictly for the audience. Okay, so I need to be getting down, descend, and maintain 3,000. So I got to remember that I need to put 3,000 in first. That's feet per minute. What I want to do, I need to put 3,000 in first. Then I can change my profile. All right. Okay, I got oxygen on. Fuel is okay. Engine oil is okay. This engine oil actually always run hot. Generators look good. I don't know what the date and time where they get that from. I'm not even sure they get that from. You would think they get it from X-Plane, but I don't think they do. And I always forget this pops out. And am I under the speed limit? Just back off that power a little bit. And I am gonna go here and get the weather. Okay, for Charlotte, come on. Okay, shucks. I need Charlotte. Review weather station, Charlotte. Okay, got it. Okay, Charlotte, winds are 210 at 6 knots. Altimeter is 3001. And sky is broken at 12,000, overcast at 28, and broken at 35,000. Okay, visibility is greater than 10,000, and that is inconsistent with what I am seeing because I'm at 4,000 and I'm in soup. So, why? I am going to do this. I hope this doesn't disrupt the flight, but I'm going to go here and load new meter. Shucks. Um, well, cancel. Whew. Screen went black there for a second, and I thought I had lost. That's why I just held my breath. um, I tell you what, but I'm gonna do this. I am gonna go here and change this guy to match real world. Let it load up. I'm 50% complete. My internet is pretty quick, so it's got to be the server I'm getting the weather from, and apply those changes. to see what, you know what, I need to stop clicking on stuff before, you know, after this many hours of flying. It would be a real shame for my sim to crash. Okay, I'm doing that hard turn. I'm in the soup, so I can't see, but I'm looking at the artificial horizon, and I know that it's doing that hard turn. And I am need to lower my nose, so I'm gonna change my descent rate to 1,000. I'm low enough now to be able to come down without making it too uncomfortable for my passengers. And descend and maintain 2,000. Turn my approach on. And see what I'm flying here. Let's see. Now this is where I've always have a problem, because if I hit this and say fly leg, activate leg, enter, enter, then a lot of times it will start flying away from the airport. But let's see if it does what it should do. Okay, maybe this time it's working. Maybe, yep, it looked like it's flying, looked like it is working. Now, I'm not sure, oh man, look at my speed. Okay, so the airport is at 1,000, so I need to be a little bit higher than 2,000. Otherwise, I'd just be 1,000 AGL. The airport is, I think Charlotte is 746. X-Pilot crashed. And I see the airport up ahead. And okay. Approach. Check list. Too slow. Charlotte Tower, Pilaus 9875 is inbound from the south, 11 miles, 4 stop. Okay, initial separator should be on, I think. Yep, it is. And landing gear, way too slow here. Landing gear can come down. Landing lights can come on. And flaps. And I'm 9 miles out. Declutter. Bring this in a little bit. Not out, but in. I don't remember what that chart said I should be at sync due, but once I get the runway in sight, then I'll take the aircraft. Okay, so slower than 164 knots, so I'm gonna put in 15 degrees of flaps. And I believe I'm fighting the aircraft. I believe it took control of the vertical nav. I believe that's what that. Yeah. First time I've known this aircraft to take control of the vertical nav. Cool. So it is flying the approach. Okay, so look, Mom, no hands. Hey, A350 ULR, how are you? Glad you stopped by. I am coming in Charlotte on an ILS approach. And let's check our landing gear. Got 3 in the green. Landing gear is down. I'm flying the TBM, not the TBM, the PC-12. And getting ready to land at Charlotte. Okay, so I got the first notch of flaps in. And I am a little slow. So I don't need to slow down any further. So I'm not gonna go to flaps 30 degrees yet. Annunciator look good. Fuel quantity is okay. ITT, NG, and torque are in the green. Oil pressure is in the green. All right. Initial separator is on. Landing lights are on. And we are a go. And I just heard from tower. Let me respond back. Runway 36 right, clear for landing. Pilaus 9875 November. All right, so we were just cleared for landing. We are 8 miles out to destination, so apparently we're the only one in. Okay, so making that turn. Just picked up the glide slope. I think I just picked up the glide slope. And I am not sure. I generally don't fly these approaches, so I don't know if it's gonna descend or whether I should. Oh yeah, let's say 2,500, so 21. Why did that happen? I'm in Charlotte, and Charlotte want to kill my frame rates. As long as I can land without the program flat um, crashing, I'm okay. So it's my aircraft. I'm 5 miles out. I'm gonna hand fly it from here. Okay, go to flaps 30. Get that balloon effect. Trim it down a little bit. And let's try and stay lined up here. Four miles out. Point the nose down just a little bit more. I can't really see my glide slope, my PAPI lights for my glide slope yet. Okay, yeah, I can see them now. I'm right on my glide slope. I'm not sure whether I'm controlling the glide slope. I guess I am because I got my autopilot turned off. Okay. I'm gonna go to 40 degrees flaps, and I want to be at 100 over the threshold. Am I a little high? I'm a little high. 40 degrees. Fight the balloon. Back on the slope here.
500.
500 over the runway, 500 feet. Getting low.
2 mile final runway 36 right.
2 miles. Getting a little high here. I love it. This is the point where for a minute there, you forget you in the sim and feel like you really flying an aircraft. This is what it's all about. Let's see, now what kind of landing did I have? Great, good landing. Ah, man, I thought I would have gotten excellent landing out of this. Thought I would have buttered that one. course, my landing program don't use the term butter. All right, let me get off the runway and clean up. Thank you, Lee. Hey, man, I'm good. I'm glad you stopped by. Thank you, Eccentric, for the kind words on the landing. Awesome. All right. So I felt like it should have been a excellent landing, but I take good. Okay, found our perk speed was in range, touchdown. I think I probably touched down maybe too fast. Um, okay, so I'm gonna just kill that. And Charlotte Tower, Pilaus 9875 November is clear the runway. And let's clean up here. So flaps come up, landing lights go off, taxi lights go on, probes go off, inertia self stays on, and strobes can come off. Okay. And taxi to parking via Delta Pilatus 9875 November. Okay, so this is Delta I'm crossing, and how about that? Just happened to land in front of the FBO, clear, and I guess it's too late to clear this way, but clear it anyway. And and we are finally in Charlotte after leaving Manteo. Oh, thank you, Lee. I think I'll show you in just a minute because I don't really even know. I have four assignments, six assignments, and each one of them are paying about $900. So that's about $3,600. Of course, I'm renting the aircraft, and I am stopping here, set the brake. Okay, brakes are set, and I am going to end this flight in just a second. What I want to do is I'm going to turn off these guys, including the air conditioning, turn the oxygen off, and go up here, close the inertia separator, let the passengers open the seat belts. I can turn the taxi light off. Now light come off, beacon stays on, generator 1 and 2 and 1 can come off, so can the avionics, and lean it out so that the power goes out. Now I can open the doors to let the passengers out because I don't want to let them out while the prop is turning. Passenger door, baggage door. Okay, and then battery 1 and 2 can come off. Okay, and set the chucks and end this flight. So I've got a little Lewis script here that works with FSEconomy that I can hit this guy to finish it. And now let's see what we look like in FSEconomy. All right. Okay, so right now I've got, as you can see, I've got $233,000, and if I look at the log, I earned $2,800 on this flight. Let's look at the details. So my rental income for those 6 assignments was $5,600. I kept the aircraft in the air 2 hours and a half at $500 an hour. So that was 1,200. I actually made more than I thought I would because I was expecting, as long as I was in the air, I was almost expecting to barely break $1,000. Um, I spent, I always rent dry, and I spent $550 on fuel, ground fees, another $560 booking fees. So all of that junk come up to $1,400 plus that minus the 56, right at $3,000. So I guess that's wasn't too bad. So there you go, and that was my flight.